Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to begin with a question that changed my life the first time I heard it. The question was simple: Jim, how much are you worth? Now, I don't mean how much money you've got in the bank. I mean, how much is your value to the marketplace? That's the real measure, because, you see, we don't get paid by the hour. We get paid for the value we bring to that hour. When I was 25 years old, I was broke. I had pennies in my pocket and excuses in my mouth. I worked hard, I worked all day, but at the end of the month I still had more month than money, and one day my mentor, Mr. Schoaf, said something that shook me to the core. He said, "Jim, if you want to have more, you've got to become more. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Now that phrase stuck with me because it taught me something profound, that income follows growth. If you want to change your income, you must first change yourself. Over the years, I've discovered that there are 3 income levels of success. Each level demands a new version of you, a higher standard, a deeper discipline, and a clearer vision. And most people never rise beyond the first, not because they can't, but because they never learn how. Let me tell you something. Success is not a secret, it's a system, and anyone who follows the principles can move from the level of survival to comfort, and from comfort to freedom. The first level is about earning enough to survive paying the bills, putting food on the table, and keeping the lights on. It's where most people start, and unfortunately, where most people stay. The second level is about earning enough to live with comfort, to have choices, some breathing room, maybe a vacation, a car that runs, and a bit of peace of mind. But the third level, that's the level of freedom. That's when your money works harder than you do. That's when you no longer chase opportunity, opportunity chases you. So today, I want to walk you through those 3 levels: the income of survival, the income of comfort, and the income of freedom. I'll show you what it takes to climb each step of the ladder, not just in money, but in mindset, discipline, and philosophy. Because your income is not the problem, your philosophy is. Once you change your philosophy, your life can change in a single season. So let's begin the journey from just getting by, to getting ahead, to living free. You see, my friends, most people live in the first level, the income of survival, and they think that's just how life is supposed to be. They believe life is a grind, that the purpose of life is to work hard, pay bills, and hope something good happens along the way. When I was in that level, I worked long hours. I showed up early and stayed late. But my bank account didn't care about my effort, it only responded to my value. And I learned something crucial. You can be sincere and still be broke. You can work hard and still fall behind, because the marketplace doesn't pay for effort, it pays for results. Now, there's nothing wrong with starting at survival. Everyone starts there. That's the training ground, but it's not meant to be your final address. It's like living in a tent, good for a season, but not for life. So let's validate where you are. Maybe you're at the bottom of the ladder, feeling stuck. Maybe you're saying, "Jim, I'm working 2 jobs and still can't get ahead." That's okay. Don't curse the place you start from. What matters is not where you are, what matters is where you're going. At the income of survival, every dollar has a destination before it arrives. There's no margin for error, no room for dreams, and the worst part, it steals your imagination. You stop asking what's possible and start saying what's affordable. But the truth is, you are not meant to live a life of limitation. You were designed for expansion. And the first step is awareness, realizing that survival is not success. It's just the foundation for something greater. At this level, your time works for your money. You trade hours for dollars. If you stop working, the income stops too, and the danger is you get trapped. You build habits that keep you busy, but not productive. You confuse movement with progress. The key to validation is honesty, to admit where you are without shame, because you can't fix what you won't face. And here's the good news: you can climb out. The ladder of success doesn't ask about your past, only your willingness to learn. Every master was once a beginner. Every millionaire once wondered if they could pay the rent. So if you're at the income of survival, that's fine, but don't unpack there. That's not your final destination. Now, let's move to the second level, the income of comfort. The second level of income is what I call the income of comfort. It's when you've moved past survival. You're not panicking over bills anymore. You've got some stability, maybe a little savings, maybe a little security, and that's wonderful. You've earned it. You've learned to manage your money, you've improved your skills, and you've made some good decisions. But here's the hidden danger. Comfort can become the enemy of growth. See, at the survival level, you're desperate to change. You'll read the books, you'll attend the seminars, you'll hustle. But at the comfort level, you can get complacent. You start saying, "I'm doing okay." And those 3 words, "I'm doing okay," have destroyed more potential than poverty ever could. Comfort makes you settle for average. It makes you protect what you have instead of reaching for what you could have. But success, my friends, is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. The shift begins when you realize that comfort isn't freedom. It's just a prettier form of captivity. You've got a nice home, maybe a good car, but your time still belongs to someone else. You're still trading hours for dollars only now. The cage is golden. The question at this level isn't, "How much am I earning?" It's, "Who am I becoming?" Because your income will rarely exceed your personal development. If you want to rise beyond comfort, you must fall in love with learning again. You must exchange entertainment for education. You must study wealth, leadership, influence, communication, because those are the keys that unlock the next level. At this level, you start investing, not just in assets in yourself, books, mentors, courses, new skills, because here's the truth, wealth is not something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. So make the shift. Stop living for the weekend and start living for your purpose. Don't let comfort numb your hunger. Stay curious, stay driven, stay humble, because the next level, the income of freedom, requires a new mindset. It's no longer about working for money, it's about creating systems, value, and legacy. Let's talk about that. The income of freedom is where your life transforms. It's where your money begins to work for you through investments, businesses, royalties, or systems you've built. At this level, you stop asking, "How can I make a living?" and start asking, "How can I make an impact?" Freedom income is the reward for discipline, consistency, and growth. It's not a lottery ticket, it's a consequence of personal evolution. Here's the truth. You can't have freedom income with survival habits. You can't reach new heights with the same thinking that built the old ceiling. At this stage, the key word is leverage. You leverage your time, your talent, and your relationship. You multiply your effort through systems, employees, automation, networks, or investments that keep producing while you sleep. And most importantly, you shift from earning to creating. You create opportunities, jobs, solutions. You become a builder of value, not just a consumer of it. You see, success isn't about escaping work, it's about working on the right things. Freedom doesn't mean doing nothing, it means doing what matters. When you reach this level, your calendar reflects your purpose. You spend your days mentoring others, building ideas, serving your community, and designing your legacy. Your life becomes an example. But here's what's beautiful: anyone can get here. The same rain falls on all of us. The same soil waits for every seed. The question is, will you plant and tend your garden long enough to harvest? Freedom income is not about greed, it's about growth. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle abundance with humility, because money is just a mirror, it reflects the person who earned it. So ask yourself, am I ready to stop chasing comfort and start pursuing freedom? Am I willing to pay the price in discipline, learning, and persistence? If your answer is yes, then you're already on your way. The income of survival teaches you discipline, how to manage what little you have. The income of comfort teaches you appreciation, how to enjoy what you've earned. And the income of freedom teaches you responsibility, how to multiply and share your success. Each level is a classroom, and every season has its lessons. But you can't skip the steps. You can't reach freedom without mastering survival and comfort first. The danger is not failure, the danger is settling. It's saying, this is good enough, but good enough is the enemy of greatness. To move from one level to the next, you must upgrade three things: your mindset, because what got you here won't get you there; your skills, because income follows ability; your associations, because you become like the people you spend the most time with. If you hang around 5 broke people, guess who's next? But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, educate you, and uplift you, your life will rise to match theirs. Remember, success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. So, decide today you will no longer live at the level of survival. You will no longer settle for comfort. You will pursue freedom, not just financial, but mental, emotional, and spiritual freedom. Because when you grow into the person capable of handling wealth, wealth becomes inevitable. It's not a matter of if, but when. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more wisdom. Don't wish for easier times, wish for greater skills. And don't wish for things to change, wish for you to change. Then everything else will follow. So, my friends, where are you today? Are you surviving, comfortable, or free? Wherever you are, celebrate it, because awareness is the beginning of transformation. But don't stay there. The same road that took you here can take you further. The 3 income levels are not just about money, they're about mastery. Survival is mastery over circumstance. Comfort is mastery over self. Freedom is mastery over life. When I was a young man, broke and discouraged, my mentor said, "Jim, work harder on yourself than you do on your job, because if you become more, you'll attract more." And he was right. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. Success is not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. So tonight, make a commitment. You will rise. You will grow. You will climb the ladder from survival to comfort, from comfort to freedom, because your potential is limitless, and your best days are still ahead. The journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And when you arrive, when you stand in that place called freedom, you'll look back and say, "I'm glad I didn't give up. I'm glad I kept growing. I'm glad I became the person capable of living this life." That's the reward. That's the promise. And that's the power of the 3 income levels of success.